afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? I guess it's afternoon. We're getting things going right here. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hi. I'm making the streams for later today as we speak, the BAS 474 and BAS 475 streams. But who has questions? We've got new assignments right here. We'll play some music in a second, and I think this will do it. But if you have questions, put them in the chat right now. We'll see what questions people have. I think it's question 4 or class 4. Put on a little music right here. What questions do you have right now? Let's see what the chat says. Good to see you. Wow, we got a lot of people here. We got Liz. We got Lindley right here. My eyes are going crazy this summer. Jessica right here. We got Knox right here. We got Isabel Hudson. Hey, Brian, I sent you a kind of a big message on Discord about homework 1. Can you please take a look and guide me that I'm doing it right? Yes, I saw. I was talking to a few people this morning about homework 1. So let's see right here. Here we go. Let's see. My gosh, I'm sorry. My eyes, they're not the best these days. So I'll try. That's good. Separating. I think that's a good way of separating that you do right there. Interesting. Setting more the GPA. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there doesn't have to be differences. We don't have to. So here's the big thing right here. And Matt, great question. We'll do this here in a moment. So let's talk a little bit about, and Matt's got some really good Q1 on, oh, and then can you tell me which one that is, Matt? Because on my Pearson, it will change the question. Does that make sense, Matt? On my Pearson, it always changes the questions for the quizzes. So you can say like, oh, it's the OGIV one. It might be the OGIV one. Those are the tough ones on chapter 4, I think. One second. If it's like the OGIV one, tell me there's a horse racing OGIV one. That one's a pretty tough one. It's the stem and leaf question. What does the stem and leaf say? Like, what is it? If you say like the baseball one or that helps. Like there's a horse OGIV one. There's a whole bunch of different ones, but I'll take that right there. Let's talk a little bit about BAS 474, and then we're going to do that 201 question. Thank you so much, Matt. Perfect, Matt. Points right there. Consumer organization about the cars in the countries. That is perfect. I will be able to find that perfectly now. I really might just put in my glasses again. 1 second, everybody. We're doing a glasses office hour so I can see. Be right back. Back. Okay, I'm back. Put some jokes in the chat right there. I don't know what it is. I don't know why my contacts can't center properly, but I have a hard time seeing lately with them. That's not good. And I just got a new prescription, and they just don't center in my eyes some mornings. And so it's already happened once, but it's the way that things go. Let's head over to the main screen and do some 474, and then we'll do your question, Matt. Thank you so much. Here we go. But now I can see. We love being able to see. So 6 minutes in, here we go. BAS 474, homework 1. Now with homework 1, and for task 1, yeah, I don't know how to separate male. Oh, you're trying to separate males and females? Okay, so let's take a look. So if we were to separate, like, let's take a look right here. Let's talk about some homework 1 stuff. And let's go here to a data set. I reinstalled my R, so I might have lost stuff. I have red class back. We're loading up red class right here. We're loading up data. Now I'm going to load up data survey. Let's go to survey 9. You're using data survey 10, but I'm using a different one right here. I'm using data survey 9. Does everything make sense right here? How's this doing here? I want a graph of male with video games. We got like, this is a different data set completely. We got like churchgoer. When did your parents get married? Or are your parents married? Age of your first kiss, all this stuff right here. When you want to get married at. We talked about that one yesterday. This is from the survey it's from. Did you vote for Obama, I think? So all these things right here. My gosh, so these surveys are old, it seems. So now let's go in here and do the following. So what code do I want to do if I want to separate people out, KP? What code do I want to do if I want to separate people out? If I want to separate people out, like if I want to just talk to the freshmen, what code would I do to talk to just the freshmen? Does this make sense? Like, what code would I do to talk to just freshmen? What code am I going to do to talk to just freshmen? What code would I do? No, that's a great answer. 20 points right there. We want to go to subset. So we want to go to subset. And then the first argument of subset is, what are you subsetting? So we want to subset survey 9. Does that make sense? Now, all I've done is make a duplicate copy. You can see it up there. I've made a duplicate copy because the second part of subset is to put in what's for it. The second part of a subset is to put in what's for it. So we can do subset here. I'm going to show you an alternative way in a second. We can put in subset here. And then we need to put in what's for our subsetting. So what do we need to put in next when we do a subset? After we do subset, we say, here is what I am subsetting. This reads right now, store into sub a subset of survey 9. But I don't have any what's now. Conditions, KP, you got it right there. Good work. See, yeah, we get great job, Michelle, right there. Awesome work. We're going to put in conditions. So now you give the name of the variable and you say x, and we're going to do class 05.class equals freshman. And now take a look. Oh, whoa, I already did it. If this was the data set we were using, I've already subsetted down because I just have freshmen. Does that make sense what this code did? You can see it up there like in the Excel worksheet when it looks like this. We have now subsetted to just freshmen. These are only freshmen with this code right here. I like to hit enter, and great job, Gustavo, right there, the conditions. So I like to hit enter to go to the next line to start subsetting to say, we're only going to speak to freshmen, so let's just get those individuals. If you're in 475, you're going to see me use this methodology right here. Is if I don't think I have dplyr right now. Dplyr? Oh, I do have dplyr. Good. So if you're in 475, you would see the following methodology for doing it, which I really like a lot more, is to go to survey 09 and do a pipe and say filter. And we want to say, I think we just do it the following, but we would do it this way right here. We'd say filter class equals freshman. And there it is right there. And then I usually right arrow and I say like sub 1 or something. So there it is right there. That's just an alternative way of doing it. These are the filters right here. And I kind of like adding on more filters because you could pipe on another filter and say filter and go here and say something like XO2 gender. Oh, I love it. And it auto-completes. I forget that it does it. I was like, wait, what? XO2 gender. And it's spelled that way. And now, as you can see right here, I just have male freshmen. So there were 5 male freshmen. This is an alternative way of doing it that you're seeing on the screen that requires dplyr. And can I plot this after separating? Well, then we need to take the variable right here, the subset variable. And here's what I would suggest. And so I'm going to post this in the Discord right now. Give me a half second. And I'm going to post this in the Discord right now under the 474 tab. So let me go to the 474 Discord. And there's the text right here. And how to make nice plots in R. Nice histograms. Okay, so this is a nice histogram inside of R right here. So this is going to look a little bit better than our generic histogram. We can also work with the title right here. I wouldn't keep it plot of uniform data, but let's take this code I have. Now, if I'm going to use packages up here, good to see you, Rod. If I'm going to use packages up here, what do I have to do before running a library? Now, you don't have to do this every time, and you can't have these in your knit. You can't include those when knitting. You can't knit and install. It'll try to install to a Word document. It can't do that. So before you run a library, it has to be installed. Aaron, good to see you here. Does that make sense to everybody? Before you run a library, it has to be installed. Does that compute? Because you're downloading the library to your computer and then you're booting it up, because R has a bunch of libraries and you don't start with them all loaded in. You choose what you want to load in. So you say, okay, load this up for me, load this up. And that way you don't load everything, because there's tons of stuff. You know, sometimes the library will take a moment to run. I can show you one right here that takes a moment to load up. I actually don't have it anymore because I did what everyone did. I updated my R. So I'm installing FPP3. It's going out to the internet and downloading FPP3 for me now, which is Forecasting Principles and Practices. It's downloading, what is it called? Kind of contingent packages that require. So it's taking a moment to download additional packages. And if 201, if you have questions, let us know. Oh, there it goes. Downloading all those packages right there. And now, when I type FP33, it's going to load it up. And you notice this took a moment to load right there. Now imagine if every package I had, and I had before 1,000 packages or something, if all those loaded up when I loaded up R would take a long time to load. So you choose individually which ones you want to load. So let's take a look at this graphic I have up here, which requires the packages, and I posted this to the Discord for people to take the code. So this right here is a graphic. I need to change the way R displays data that makes a decent looking histogram. And what do you see is at the center of the histogram? You know what we might be able to do? Ooh. What is at the center of this histogram, everybody? What is at the center? Just take a look at the code and see if you can figure out what is at the center of this histogram. Now I'm going to throw 50 points of 201 and tell me how to change the color of this. The mean, exactly. Great job right there, KP, and great job, Sierra. How could I, or anyone, just tell me 50 points. How could I change the color? I want this to be purple. I don't want this to be UT orange. That's UT orange. So I don't want this to be UT orange. How would I change? And you've got this code on Discord now. I want to put as much code as we can on Discord. So it's using a generic data set, which is what we like. We like generic data set code. How would I then put this? Exactly, fill equals quote purple. Boom, right there, 50 points. Great job, KP. And so we're just going to change this to fill purple. And now it's filled with purple. Oh, it doesn't like it? Oh, it's I put hashtag purple. Dun, dun, dun. I was like, why wouldn't it like that? Hashtag is how you call hexadecimal code. If you notice right here, it's going to change via the size. You could save the picture. I think you go up there to File, Save. So you could save it as a picture. You could put it into your Word document. You could change it when it knits. You want to change the title and all this. Great job right there. Hudson, excellent work. Probably, we might be able to go to Add Median. And I think that's the median now. If I get some more skewed data, that is the median, I bet, right? My plots... Yeah, I need to make it so it shows up in the plot window. I'll work on that later. But I think that's now the median. And that could be very helpful. Yeah, that is the median. In my Pearson, I know we're unable to go back and retake the quiz again, but it's possible to go back and look at what questions. I think so. You should be able to do that if you click the gradebook, Jessica. Let me know if you have any problems with that. I believe if you click the gradebook, you can do that. Can we copy? Well, so you're talking about for 474, right? So this is like not currently set up. You're not doing the MP cars. You can use this, though. You can use this to make better histograms. You can change the titles. You can do all this stuff right here. You just have to change the data it's using. Does that make sense, KP? Like this, you can use this. I posted it on the Discord, and you can use this code, and you can make a better looking histogram, and that's kind of the goal. Good to see you here, Lindsay. So the goal right here is to kind of make some really good looking graphics to kind of, showcase what we're doing. Yeah, with your data, 100%. That's the goal. And that's why I'm going to be posting as much as I can. So be asking questions like, what are we trying to do right here? We talked about a moment ago, if you're here for 474, we talked about subsetting the data. I did it two ways. You can do it the way we do it in the notes. I also did it right here using dplyr methodologies. This is the classic way of doing it with base R. This is another way of doing it where I went down to only there being 5 freshmen. And then if I wanted to look at something from those 5 freshmen, I remember this is a different data set I'm working with. I'm going to go to sub 1. This is such a small data set that it's really, it's going to be pretty odd. Let's look at their GPA. Do they have GPA? There it is, X11 GPA. Does this autocomplete? I hate things that don't autocomplete. That really drives me crazy. And there's the GPA of those 11 students. Does that make sense, KP, how I'm now looking at this subset and analyzing? Oh, no worries, Lindsay. Don't worry. I've been replying to a bunch of people on Discord this morning. No, that's the point of Discord. It's very easy to ask questions. It's so easy. It's just a conversation. Is anyone here? What are people thinking about Discord? I know we got quite a few people on Discord here who have been replying to. Is it easy to reach out and talk to Brian on Discord? Is it easy to ask a question? Just go on Discord and like do, and then like I can usually see it pretty quickly. So shout outs to Discord right there, because I know I see a bunch. I see like half a dozen people in here I've talked to on Discord so far, like, and actually had a back and forth conversation with. So it's very easy in my opinion. Exactly. It's just instant messaging. You just type me a question. Yeah, it's super easy. And then post in the chat to people. Post in the BS 474 201 475 chat. No worries, Peaks. That's the point. Ask those questions, and then Like I was eating breakfast this morning, replying to as many as I could. I got up and I probably had like a dozen, or don't worry, I had a lot of messages, but that's the point. It's really easy. And then we have a back and forth. It's quicker than email because we can see when each other typing. And then if you're free at that moment, we can hop on a call on task 3. And which one's task 3 again? I don't know task 3 by name yet. We're doing a little 474 talk, and then we're going to do some 201 next. So stay tuned, 201. Stay tuned, 201. One thing I do want to say about this is after you knit the document, I would go in and start adjusting. Part of how a report looks is how a report looks. I know that's redundant, but you want to make your report look nice. You don't want to have a graphic that takes up half a page that really doesn't do much. So think about how you're doing it. Oh, check for integrity issues? Yeah. So integrity issues is when you can't trust the data. So what I would start doing if I want to look for integrity issues, watch this. I shouldn't show this trick. Now, don't include this. Don't put this in your report. Here we go. I just ran a summary on every single variable. Does that make sense here, KP, what I did? I just ran a summary on the full data frame, which ran a summary on every single variable, and I already see an integrity issue. I mean, it's where I would wonder, would you already see I see 2 integrity issues already. What 2 integrity issues do you see right now? Explain to me. And integrity issues are things that you think like, yeah, I don't know about that. I see one I'm 99% certain. That's what an integrity issue is. Integrity issue means the data is not real. Junk in, junk out. That's the idea of integrity, is that your data is not real. Your data is junk. And so if you, movie theaters, yeah, someone said they've seen 1,000 movies in the movie theater. I mean, I guess if you're 20 years old, that'd be 50 movies. That's possible. That's theoretically possible. 50 movies a year for 20 years. My friend David Blaylock might, I just stopped. It's fine. This one is theoretically possible, just kind of odd. Or maybe we might ask how many movies do you see a year or something. So then that's thousands. I doubt it. And then max hours worked per week. If you look at how many, if you go 7 times 24, they don't sleep or eat. All they do is work. So they entered in the maximum, which they entered in how many hours there are in a week. So that just seems like something's wrong right there. So what I'd probably do now is I would take that max hours work per week right here, and I would go right back to my data right here, and I'd go to Survey 09, and I'd plot it. What is it like on I have a space right there. And so if you look at them, they really are a bit of an outlier. And this is where, 201 question, what is the proper measure of center for this data? Because if we want to display something, what is the proper measure of center for this data? The answer on the screen is wrong. What is the proper measure of center for this data? 201 question right there. What is the proper measure of center for this data? Well, not kind of. And great job, everyone right there points in the chat. It'd be the median. So we could change this right over here to show the median when we plot it. And you notice the median has moved over to the left a little bit more. If you saw where the other one was at, the mean was pulled to the right because of the outlier. So why is it an integrity issue? Why is that person an integrity issue? Is it because they're an outlier? Can anyone in the chat explain why this person up here is an integrity issue, and maybe like why are they an integrity issue? If you say you work 160 hours a week, what does it mean to be an integrity issue? And when we say it's junk, or as William would say, it's trash. So why would we say that that's an integrity issue? What do we mean when we say that about the data? What does that mean? To say that that's an integrity issue with our data. Who's got thoughts on that? And great job, Jessica. Jessica even gave the explanation. You can't really do that. We could find that individual right there pretty easily and talk about them and talk about the integrity issue more specifically going by which.max. This is the thing I showed in another office hours. And type in survey 09 $, is it work? There it is, 44 work. So that's the position of the individual right here. Now I like to store it as position. And I'd be careful with how much you print. You might choose to print out certain things about them, but we could go here to the individual's position, and that's their row. And then you could choose to talk about certain things about them. But this is the kind of stuff we want to look at. So they say, they also work out 163 hours a week. They've missed 124 classes. They've downloaded 666 songs. Pretty interesting numbers. They're pretty rich. man, we got to talk to. They're doing something right in life. They got $2.7 million. They drink 56 drinks at a party. You think this person they weigh 472 pounds, female. They want to weigh 63 pounds. That's some hashtag goals right there. What do you think? They're a senior, so they're long gone. What do you think about this? I mean, this is integrity issues to the max. And you know what I'd do with this individual? What are your thoughts on what I would do with this full individual's data? I don't think they don't study much. They're out drinking they're out drinking, working out. They're working out, they're drinking, they're missing class. They've spent $964 on a haircut. They value their haircuts. They spend 946. Seems like their fingers were hovering over those buttons. They have a very old car, 1942 car. That's why. That's what she said. They said that's why. It's only like, is there? Yeah, exactly. This whole individual, and this is a real answer to a survey. They study 23 hours a week. Good on them. So I think like bless your heart. I would toss them out. They've read 888 books. This whole individual is an integrity issue unto themselves. You're just going to take them and toss them out of your survey. You're going to see this many questions and think they didn't make this many errors. They just clicked through the survey and just clicked buttons. One fun thing about when people put in random numbers, they usually don't put in zeros. And I only see 1 0 on their numbers. There's a low frequency of zeros when random numbers are created, generally by humans, not required, but a lot of times you'll see low frequencies of certain numbers. You should see a uniform frequency of distribution of numbers. So it'd be pretty cool to like extract their numbers and look to see which ones they did more often. You see a lot of ones right there. So any questions, 474, we can loop back on this, but what else are you thinking right now? Do we have to report it or delete it? I would suggest, that's one thing I would say. If I was talking about this, I would say we found an integrity issue with the data. Not only did this person, while this is how I would write in the report, while investigating how many hours per week someone works, someone reported that they work 168 hours. This is the equivalent of, and so if you do the math, 7 times 24, that's the equivalent of working every day, every moment. So since this really doesn't even seem possible, we went and investigated the individual. Additionally, we found things that said that they work out 163 hours. They blah, 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 like talk about these things, like they said that they have $2.7 million in the bank. Many of their answers are either unreasonable or impossible. Because of this, individual 4 has been removed from our survey. Like, that's what you need to tell the company, because of this, we're removing individual 4. It's not just an integrity issue on them with one question. It's an integrity issue on so many questions that you're just going to toss them. Like, could someone own a Mac? Of course, but I don't trust anything they say anymore. Does that make sense right there, KP? Like, it's not that I think they made a mistake on understanding the question and thus caused an integrity issue on that question. Awesome, Met. I'm going to do it. Yes, exactly. We're going to do Met's question next right here. Thank you, Met, so much. We're going to do that question next. You've got it in the chat. And so when you think about this, that's the portion you're writing right there. You're doing the data investigation. Like, you can do all this right here. You can include the code as a supplement. So I'm going to talk about that today in class, that you could upload your code that you did as a supplement and then just do the report on it and do minimum graphics and minimum output. Because think about this, when you have up to a 5-page limit, you don't want to include like huge graphics. You don't want to include like tons of output. You want to think about what the person's going to be looking at, what the person wants to see on the page, and what's going to communicate the information. You don't have to do a ton of writing, but it's like if I'm putting something on the page like a graphic, I want it to be nicely composed. I want it to have a good title. I want to add some color to it. Think about how it's going to look, and that's very important right there. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say. Are you able to post an example on Canvas? I don't really. Well, that's the thing is like, so with this right here, because I know you asked about that too on the Discord, I think. I'm afraid to post an example because I don't want people to copy it. This is like your people come to you and they say, hey, you're the data analytics person, right? We want to understand more about this data. Is there things of interest in here? Does the data have integrity issues? Can you write us a report on what you found out while investigating this data? So you're handed this data set. You can ask the survey 10, and then you're going to go through and kind of look through, subset the data, and see what you find. So you want to take and just compose, like I said, a 3 to 5 page report. But the biggest thing is, think about the person reading it. So remember, this is a company where people, this is my best advice. So Lindsay and everyone here in KP, these are people who are not going to be stats people, right? These are not going to be, they're not going to want to see a bunch of code on the page. It's going to look like a good report. It's going to look like a report where you walk the person through what you're doing, where you explain what you found, where you put in some good graphics. Does that make sense right there, everyone? So it's going to look different for each person. There is no, and so I know you're asking about like the font and everything. There's no font requirement. There's no double spacing requirement. Company usually, it doesn't say like we want this font, we want this. They just say like we need a report on this, or we need someone to take notes on this, or we need this to be looked into. Technically, it could be done with a PowerPoint if you really want. I'd accept a PowerPoint, like a 3 to 5 screen PowerPoint. I guess you would need an executive summary at the start, and then you could do each task via one screen. That could probably suffice. You could just say, "Oh, I created a PowerPoint to go through it." Could we do it? And then make sure to knit it though. I would knit it, because do remember, the company is not going to want you to submit an RMD. They'd want you to submit like a Word document, a PowerPoint. They've got like Prezi and stuff. So as long as you have it submitted some way the company would want to see it, that you could print it off on the printer or put it on the big screen and show people, you're fine. So that's the big thing I'm going for right here. So I think once we do this first assignment, a lot of people are going to get a lot more confidence, because I can tell there's been a lot of worry. But keep putting those questions. We're going to grab, we'll grab this subsetting right here, subsetting with dplyr. I'm going to drop this in the Discord. And then we're going to do KP's question. We don't have any more questions after KP's question. And so drop a question if you have it. We could do more 474, 475. Subsetting. Subsets with dplyr. There we go. It's on the Discord right there. Subsets with dplyr. And just going through, checking that out. You can also use select and other cool things with that too. You can use augment. There's a lot of cool stuff. So technically we don't show code. I wouldn't show it. And you can also, I would suggest Riley too, if you want to make sure you get those knowledge checks, I would probably upload your RMD also. So Riley, thank you for asking that right there. I'd probably do limited if no code. Limited if no code. So you can go to chunks and choose not to show the code, or you can just delete it out of your report afterwards. So a big thing is going to be like making your report look nice. Does that make sense? Lindsay, Riley, everyone, let me know if you have any questions here. We're just going to hang here for a half second more, and then we're going to do KP's, Met's question right there. It was a question about stem and leaves. Are people feeling better about it? How are people feeling? Give me your thoughts. Give me your energy. How do you feel about it? As BTS said, that energy, energy, energy. What are people's thoughts? We're getting some Pearson loaded up. I'll Discord you. Awesome. Feeling a little better, Riley? Awesome. Yeah, Discord. Definitely Discord me. Definitely. Good to see you here, Liz. And let me know if you have questions. We're getting... Here, we'll go to the main screen. Assignment Manager. We are getting some Tool 1 loaded up. I think people are feeling better. That's good. I like that. We got Chapter 4 quiz. What's really great about this is you sent me some code on Discord. Oh, do you want me to check it out, Noah? Do you want me to see if the code works? Is it for 474, 474? Let me know what it's about, and if you want me to pull it up here, we'll do that next. Because we got open questions. So, and Jessica asked about the quizzes, and Matt's question was a consumer organization about gas mounts. Let's do it. Consumer organization. Oh, found it. So let me know. We have that next if you want. Just trying to understand the error. Yeah. Do you want me to do the? Can I do the code here live? Your thoughts on that? Consumer organization gas. Statul 1, Chapter 4. Consumer organization. Yes. I was able to find the... Oh, thank you. Great job, Jessica. Yeah, I was pretty sure you could do that. Great work right there. Thank you, Jessica. I was 90... I'm always afraid to say you can, and then you can't. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure, because I see it from the instructor side, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can review the ones you've done. Yeah. No, we'll check that out next. Thank you, Noah, for asking. You got it. Okay, so here's Matt's question right here. Thank you, Matt, for asking this. So this is a stem and leaf plot. Now, stem and leaves display what kind of data? Stem and leaves, if you look, this is gas mileage. What does stem and leaf display for you? And you know what you can do? You can go over here and go stem. What do stem and leaves display for you? What do stem and leaves display for you? So you can see the answer here if you're 474. We're going to do more 474 in a second. But a stem and leaf displays what for you? It's kind of weird how it did the bins right there. Quantitative, great job right there. Quantitative, if you notice, there's numbers inside of this stem and leaf. So this is how we do it inside of R right here to make a stem and leaf right here. And that is something within the 2 bin. And it's counting 2, 3, 3 as those observations. This bin width of 2 right here. And I don't like the way it displayed that. I could probably change the break or something. Great job. Rob is right. Rod is right. Excuse me, Rod. Frequency counts. We could probably change to breaks. No. It's got some other argument I don't know. Stem. Really? Okay, it doesn't like me today. Let's go over and look at those stem and leaves. Now, these are interesting stem and leaves because these are back-to-back stem and leaves. So not only are they displaying a quantitative variable, they're splitting it apart on a what variable. So they are, stem and leaves do display univariate quantitative data, but now it's like we have 2 of them and they've been put back to back on a what variable because we have 2 different countries. So we have how much was the gas price. It is bivariate, Lindley. Good answer right there, Lindley. It is bivariate. So stem and leaves are by nature univariate, but now we've created 2 stem and leaves, joined them together, and it's a bivariate display because we have a categorical variable that we're separating them on. Does that make sense? So I think we did something similar to this yesterday in Jump where we did the candy sales. So yesterday in Jump, we talked about candy sales. Did I lose my candy sales data? I think I did. I should never have closed it out. Oh, yeah, we did it right here. Another way to display it would be something like stacked histograms. Histograms are by nature quantitative, but if you stack histograms, you can make your candy sales in Nashville, your candy sales in Knoxville. So we're doing the same thing here, but with gas sales. We have what was the gas miles per gallon, so it's gas miles per gallon in country A, quantitative amount, and then what was the miles per gallon for country B. So these are the categorical split of it, and this is the quantitative information displayed below. So the way it works is when you look at this information, these numbers round. I'm trying to get it to a nice font. I might just disappear so you can see it better. These numbers up here round. So if I were to look down in country B, I should look for a 2 what for this in country B. So I'm going to look down here in country B. I'm going to look for this value. I should look for a what to find this value right here. Just remember, don't read this. It just rounds. What is distance move to school? How far did someone move to school when they came to UT? So like if you came from New York, it might be like 1,000. If you came from Chattanooga, it might be like 100 maybe? I don't know. 25. Great job, Jessica, right there. That'll be a 25. And that's right here. It's this number right here. You see 2-5 under country B. So it is in all of these. That didn't really help us. Let's take a look at this 1 right here. So I should see something up here in country B that rounds to what? If this is correct, this is an observation. Each one of these are observations. So I should see something in country B that rounds to what? If this right here is accurate, I should see something in country B that rounds to what? Because that's an observation, that's an observation, that's an observation. This is just the stem. That's a number line. That's not numbers, like not observations. So I should see something in country B up here that rounds to what, if that's a correct answer? So if this is the correct one, there should be an observation up here that rounds to what? What would this round to? Who knows? We'll give it a second longer here. So that 1 right there, which has a 1 connected right here, I should see something in country B that rounds to what number, if that's a correct answer? So this 1 right here. And if you see 11, great job, Jessica, right there. Sorry, I might have blinked. Great job, Jessica. 100 points. Great work today. Yes, 11 is correct. And we don't see anything that rounds to 11. So this looks like a wrong stem and leaf. How about over here? We see a 4. And notice how we have 13.9. 13.9 rounds to 14. The first number is the leading digit right here, and it connects and is 1-4. There should also be on the other side of this, you notice we have country A has a 4 right here. So there should be something that rounds to 14, and we see it right here in country A. So we have narrowed it down that it has to be either A or C. A or C. Let's take a look. You see how there's 7 right here? In country A, there should be something that rounds to what? If this is the correct answer, because we're between A and C right now, if this is the right answer, there should be something in country A that rounds to what? So the 7 I'm pointing to, think about the leading digit for it. There should be something that rounds to what? 37. Lindley, great work at there. Lynn, we're throwing some more points, getting it right there. And look, right there, first digit, we've now done it correctly. You could check other numbers now, like 32, 32, 33. So we see right here 33. And we should see some 32s. Where are they? There's a 32. Where's the other 32? There's the other 32. So 33, 32, 32. And this is what the numbers round to. That's what it's telling you down here. You just round the number. That's 32. And that's one of those 2s right there in country A. So let's see right here. Now that we have this, which of the following is correct? The models for country A, yeah, they do kind of have lower. Oof. The models for country A have higher gas mileage. Nah, it's kind of weird, right? Since they're fit, no. I think it's going to be the models for country A have lower gas mileage. I think I've seen it a little more separated. I think we've done it. The good old Seth one day. It's good to see you, Seth. Do you see how B is kind of more what? If you had to talk to me about graphic B, you would say B is a little more what skewed. B is a little more what skewed. B is a little more what skewed. B has a little bit more skew to the which side? B is left skewed. Great job right there. And that's left to the low. So Monster Man dude right here, a little more low skew right there. So we say right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the Monster Man's tail goes. Great job right there, Rod and everyone. And Jessica, it's going to be left skew, a little more left skew. And then this one is a little more symmetric maybe. It's, if you look at where the center of it is at, the center's over here maybe. The center of this one's about here maybe. So generally B is a little bit higher. There's less low observations. A's got that modal area more around the low 20s. B is the upper 20s or low 30s. But we can see that B generally has higher prices. A might be more symmetric with a tiny bit of right skew. B is a little bit more left skew. So remember, this is the high side of data. This is the low side and left to the low. Okay, so yeah, that should be right. I get scared. Check my answers. Woo! What? Let's do it. Does anyone else have another 201 question? We're going to do Noah's question here coming up next. But any more 201 questions? I try to spend as much equal time as I can, but let's go over here. More 201 questions. Are you working on another homework assignment? A Canvas content? Does anyone want to do, is there Canvas content coming up? Does anyone want to do, surely there's a Canvas content coming up. Does anyone want to do a version of the Canvas content right now? You name it. You say, hey, Brian, can you do that Canvas content? You name it, we do it. What do people want? You name it. Got a lot of 201 here. Just say, hey, Brian, can you do this? And you can always say it while we're working on stuff because then we get it going next here. Yes, Jessica says, is it Canvas content 2? Is it Canvas content 2? Might do 2 versions of it. I need all the coffee. All the coffee. You go to the grocery store, you say, where's the coffee? They say, Brian bought it. I say, darn it. He said he was going to do it. I didn't believe him. I did not believe him. He said he was going to drink all the coffee. So Canvas content 2 coming up on Friday. It's Friday. Friday. Gotta do the Canvas content on Friday. Or Thursday, that's fine. Let's go ahead right here. Canvas content 2, I'm going to take the note on it. If you have more questions, let me know. We got open questions after this. We're going to do Noah's question next after this. But put more questions in the chat. And then we'll do the question. Canvas content 2. Here we go. Okay. First question is about box plots. A box plot displays what kind of data? A box plot displays what kind of data? Which you see it down here. You can kind of like use this. And I know the question doesn't say what does a box plot display, but we have to know what a box plot is. So a box plot displays what kind of data? Here's the height of players. So that's a hint right there. A box plot displays what kind of data? Quantitative, Sam, great work out there, displays quantitative. Now, side-by-side box plots are bivariate displays because you're breaking it up by team. So you're saying what was the heights of the players, and then we're breaking it up by team right here. Now you can kind of get a hint because what is this of the box plot? Let's just talk about a little bit about box plots right here. This is talking about box plots with Brian. So what is, you can just tell me what is it? What is this right here? What is that? What is that? Anyone know? That's a box. But what is the box? It's the box of the box plot. But what does that represent? What does that represent right there? The box of the box plot represents the what? The box of the box plot represents the what? The interquartile range right there. Great job, Rod, right there. The IQR, that is the IQR. So if we think about where we're at, the IQR is Q3 down to Q1, which is the range of the middle 50%. Great job right there, Sam. Also Q3 and Q1. And if you take their distance, you can tell what the IQR is. So we could estimate the IQR here for this. It's got to be about 12 or 13 or something. Does everyone see why I'm saying it's about 12 or 13? Like if this is 190, you trace over here to this, and this is 188. Looks closer to that. It's going to be, 178. Dun, dun, dun. 178, the IQR is 12, which is the range of the interquartile range. Now, I'm going to ask a tougher question right here for 100 points. This goes to the very first question, and this is probably one of the toughest ways we can ask this on, we wouldn't maybe make you do this many calculations, but where is the upper fence for this box plot? This is a much tougher question right here. 100 points on the line. Where is the upper fence of this? Now, you have to know that you go to Q3 to find the upper fence, and you go up 1.5 IQRs. So you have to think of, I'm going to go to Q3. So the formula would be Q3 plus 1.5 IQRs. So what is an IQR? And then try solving this right here. I'll write the answer up top, but 100 points on the line. Where would the upper fence be for this? Now, the upper fence is something you don't see. It's a graphical thing. We're telling you where outliers begin. You don't see it. It's a calculation thing done in the background for you. It's just a fence telling you, here's where outliers begin. And you don't see it in the graphic because you just see the outlier. So the fence might have been up here somewhere, and that's why there's an outlier right there, because it's beyond the fence for its box plot. Fence might have been a little bit higher. 100 points on the line. I'll show the answer of how to get this. First, think to yourself, what is Q3? So you can see Q3 on the screen. Now calculate an IQR and solve the problem. Great job right there, Rod. 100 points right there. I think so. Yeah, Jessica, you got it too. That's exactly it. Yeah, great work, Sierra and Jessica and Nolan, everyone getting it right there. I'm throwing another 100 points in the chat. So many people got it. That's awesome. Yep. So it'd be 190 plus 1.5 times 12. There you go right there. Great job. That's about as hard of a question as we can ask, to where you have to calculate where a fence is at. And so you'd have to know where Q3 is at. Then you go 1.5 IQRs above it. And it's literally the visual of going 1.5 of those above it. So great job. That's about as hard as any question could be on calculating things with box plots. I guess the last thing to mention is this is the minimum value. This is the maximum. And now I'm going to ask you one last tough question, then we're going to finish the quiz. That's the median right there. Be very careful. What is the maximum value of Croatia? Be very careful. 50 points on the line. What is the max? This is a common mistake. What is the maximum value for Croatia? Don't worry about being exact, because if you make the mistake, you'll be like, oh, no. And I'll be like, you got to remember, what is the maximum value for Croatia? Don't worry. If you have to estimate it, that's all right. You'll either be very close or not very close to the answer. What is the maximum value for Croatia? Don't worry if you get it wrong. If you get it wrong, then you'll get it right on the test. What is the maximum value for Croatia? Lindley, you got it. Because Lindley, we're throwing those 100 points. Lindley, you did not forget. Ooh, Knox, I like that very exact answer. You did not forget to look at what? And then Rod said it right there. Don't forget to look at those outliers. A common mistake when we ask what is the maximum value for it is for people to forget the outlier. A lot of times this is not the max, not max right here, because you need to make sure to go up here to the max. That value, if you're wondering, let me highlight only it so you don't have too much being shown to you. This value right here is the highest not outlier. Does that make sense? It's the highest observation in the data set that's not an outlier. And then there's a gap in the data till that outlier. So this represents a gap in the data where there is no data. So that thing I've circled in red is the highest observation in the data that is not an outlier. Then there's a gap in the data. And then there might be more outliers, but there's just one right here, and that value is the max. But if there are no outliers, then that's the max and such. Does that make sense? These are side-by-side box plots. So we should be able to answer the questions now. Outliers of a box plot are blank IQRs above and below the edges of a box plot. Outliers are blank IQRs. Who remembers from what we just did right there? Outliers are blank IQRs above and below Q1, Q3, respectively. So you go to Q3, you go this many IQRs above, and you do the same thing for Q1. It's the number we were just working with right there. How many IQRs above Q3, how many IQRs below Q1 for outliers in a box plot? 1.5, nice job right there, Sam. 1.5, exactly, great work, good practice. What is the 75th percentile for the French team? We're looking for the top of the what? So we go to the French team, and we look for the top of the what? So the 75th percentile. We go to the top of the what? And we did this, so check out what we just did in the video. This is now review, because we kind of just like learned about some boxes, the top of the box. So what's the answer going to be? Great job, Linda. You got it, Sam, because that's Q3, right? So what's the answer going to be? We go right here, top of the box for the French team right there. And so that's going to be 190, right? So 190. And now we get to some contingency tables. Contingency tables are a bivariate display of categorical data. A contingency table is a bivariate display of categorical data. We ask students, are you an honors student and were you born in Tennessee? So what is the probability of a student being an honors student? Now, if you notice, how many variables is this talking about right here? 1 or 2? What is the probability of a student being an honors student? Is that 1 or 2 variables I'm mentioning in this question? That right there, it says, what is the probability of a student being an honor student? Is that 1 or 2 variables? It just says, what is the probability of them being an honor student? It's 1. Shreya, great work right there. And so we're going to look right over here, and this is called a marginal distribution. Why is it called a marginal distribution? I want you to think why this is called the marginal distribution, because it's in the what? Why is that called a marginal distribution? Because a marginal distribution is in the what? Which you have another one over here. A marginal distribution, which shows you one variable on a contingency table, is called a marginal distribution because it's in the margin. Owen Wilson, what do you think about that?
Wow.
He's impressed. He's always impressed by this. It's in the margins, exactly. And it's a univariate display of data. It's like a frequency table. So when we look at this right here, we're going to say, what's the probability of a student being an honors student? And the probability of a student being an honors student is going to be 65 divided by 923. And we're going to keep it as a decimal and copy it over. If you feel like you were caught in a decimal error, let me know. I think I've corrected almost all of these, but there's the answer to that one. What percent of respondents choose dislike of the extreme dark chocolate flavor? Now you have to be careful right here. This is saying a student had to have tried the extreme dark chocolate. So the student had to have tried the extreme dark chocolate, and then we're going to look at this. This is called a conditional distribution. So they tried extreme dark chocolate, and then we want to figure out what percent of them disliked it. So this is what percent of the extreme dark chocolate was it liked or disliked? I can't remember the question now. Disliked it. So what would be the answer to this? What percent of the extreme dark chocolate disliked it? What is the math? Show me the math in the chat for this. As Tom Cruise once said, show me the math. Oh no, he's talking to the guy on the phone who said, show me the math. I think that's how that movie line goes. I don't know, I haven't seen it in a while. What would the math be for this? Exactly. Great job, Jessica, right there. Because 105 of the 199 who tried it disliked it. This is called a conditional distribution because we're setting a condition for one of the variables. In the condition that someone had extreme dark chocolate, and then we're looking in to say, of the extreme dark chocolate, what percent of them disliked it? Great job right there, Christy, also. Good work. 105 divided by 199 is going to be the answer. And we'll do another version of this, and then we're doing Nolan's question after that, but we still have more time, so drop those questions if you got them. It says to report it this way. You got to love it. I think I've corrected it. So be careful. If you think it counted you wrong because of the way you entered it, let me know. Watch me get one wrong. It happened already to us this semester. But I try to make it so they accept all answers, even if you don't round decimals. But you never know. What is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee. Wow, we only got what kind of distribution is this? It says, what is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee? Review question here. What is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee? So this is a what distribution again. Just reviewing, keeping those concepts in our head. It says, what is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee? We have two variables, but we're only focusing in on one. Instead of showing code, can we screenshot it and copy? But remember the company, great job, Shrey, right there. Company probably doesn't want to see code that much. You can upload your RMD as like a supplemental file to show your knowledge. So you can upload the RMD to be like, hey, here's what I did, but I wouldn't put it in the report. I'd probably not do that. And great job, Shrey, right there. A marginal distribution. What is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee? Yes, right here. Let me do this. There's that. And so what is the math going to be? What is the math going to be? What is the math going to be on this? As I block it so you can't see the numbers. So what is the math going to be? So we would say of the students, what percent of them are born in Tennessee? This is a marginal distribution because it only focuses in on one variable. Conditional takes one and sets a condition for it. No, I mean graph. Oh yeah. Maybe KP, send me an example of what you're doing and I'll tell you. I'm leaning towards no, but I feel like you're doing something I want you to do. But yeah, if you want to send me what you have, I'll take a look. And I'll be like, yeah, no, or I don't know. I'll figure it out. 3 decimals, 3 decimals. We should be good. We should be good. I just, every time I turn to quiz, I'm like, I got something wrong. I didn't do a decimal thing properly. Good news is you get 5 attempts if you get it wrong. So we're going to do another quick attempt right here and do Nolan's question next. IQRs and box plots, 1.5. Looks like we got something about graphics. Which of the following is a bivariate display of data? Which of the following is a quantitative of quantitative data? Okay. Which of the following is a bivariate display of quantitative? Well, tell me with numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, which of these are bivariate? So 1, 2, 3, and 4, which of these are bivariate displays? And I'll give you a hint. So there's that. You can pause the screen on this. This is all the graphics. Which of those 1, 2, 3, and 4 are bivariate displays? 4 is correct. And 4 is bivariate, and it's bivariate categorical. You can see it here in the bottom corner. It's 2 categorical variables. Green is categorical on here. Blue is quantitative. And a bivariate display of 2 quantitative variables would be a scatter plot. So scatter plots right here are 2 quantitative variables. We can make one pretty quickly right here if we go to plot, or if we go to X, and we make a vector of a few numbers. We go here to Y, and we make a vector of a few numbers. And then we say plot X, comma, Y, and that's a scatter plot. Beautiful, beautiful scatter plot. And then mosaic plots are going to be, let me show you a mosaic plot really quick right here. I think we might not have data. Let me go get some data real quick. We're going to show a mosaic plot. Where is the mosaic plot data? Okay, here we go. So here is mosaic plot data. We go to analyze, fit Y by X, and we take gender, and we look at the handedness of students by gender, and we get a mosaic plot. So we'll show both side by side on the screen here. There's a mosaic plot with a contingency table, bivariate categorical, and then a scatter plot could be like height and weight, and that's what a scatter plot looks like. So these both use how many variables? To review, a scatter plot, which is right here, height and weight, or a mosaic plot. Awesome, thank you so much right there, KP. Scatter plots right here, and mosaic plots and contingency tables all are what kind of displays of data, and you can see the answer up there in the corner. A scatter plot, a mosaic plot, a contingency table are all what kind of displays of data? A scatter plot, a mosaic plot, a contingency table are all what displays of data? A scatter plot, a contingency table, a mosaic plot are all what displays of data? Scatter plot, contingency table, mosaic plot are all what displays of data? Bivariate Trey is yelling out, bivariate, 2 variables. Now you can't display what you do in a scatter plot in a mosaic plot because mosaic plots and contingency tables use 2 categorical variables. So there are differences between these, and the differences can be seen right here, where you can see which ones go with which. Like scatter plots are bivariate quantitative, where right here, look where I am right now, mosaic plots and contingency tables, stacked bar charts, side-by-side pie charts are bivariate categorical, meaning you have 2 categorical questions you asked. So let's finish off the quiz. Then we're going to take a look at NOAA's and then KP's. So the answer for bivariate quantitative is scatterplot. A little bit more on contingency tables right here. Bivariate categorical. We asked, are you born in Tennessee? Are you an honors student? Now, sometimes people look at this and they say these are numbers. These are actually counts of individuals. You had to walk up to someone and say, hey, are you an honors student? So you're asking them a categorical question, then you're counting how many people give that response. So these aren't, someone didn't say 15 as an answer. It was that they answered that they are an honors student, and then they answered that they were not born in Tennessee. What is the probability of a student being an honors student? This one right here, again, we did this one a moment ago, so I'm going to do it quickly. Honors student is going to be 65. There's that. Has anyone gotten 100 on this yet? Where's my hundreds at? What is the probability of a student being born in Tennessee? We did this one also. It's just born in Tennessee. There we go. And it wants it reported this way. That's good right there. Does it round up? Yeah, it does. And then, oh, we got the extreme dark, dislike dark chocolate. Check out the, did we get all, we got only like 1 new question? Well, we could come back tomorrow and do another version. And then this one, of course, wants it reported a different way because reasons. That's my best answer, because reasons. I've tried to standardize these and I thought we did. Always afraid I'm going to miss one. Always afraid. Sometimes I miss 2. You never know. Misread a question, enter a decimal wrong. It happens. But you've got 5 attempts right here where you can do them. And I highly suggest, and this is my last suggestion right here before we go look at Noah's question. If you've already aced this, I suggest going in and using how many attempts. If you have 5 attempts at these, how many attempts do I suggest you use? If you have 5 attempts at these, how many attempts do I suggest you use? If you have 5 attempts at these, even if you get 100, all of them, exactly. This is practice. And then you can go back and look at them and see your answers. So it's probability of student being born in Tennessee. And you just get practice. So I highly suggest these are what the tests are going to look like. The more you get these down. Ooh, look at this. Above is a contingency table of the superheroes. What percent of superheroes were not? What percent of the superheroes were not from the publisher DC? Oh, that's so mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all the superheroes, the 1,575, subtract off the DC superheroes. So those are the ones not from DC because we subtracted out of it, and divide by 1 right there. And then we have to enter it in with a percent to 2 decimals. And that rounded up. There we go right there, and that should do it. Hopefully I didn't do something wrong. A little worried about that last one. And the answer is, got it. Use all of them, practice. You notice we're able to do it a little bit quicker right here. That was a 1-minute attempt, but write down the questions, see if you can get them. This is probably a highly missed question. Last question right here. Why do you think people get this question wrong when it says which vegetable has the highest selling price? I have seen a lot of people miss this, and I've seen this one on the test. No joke. I've seen that question right there on the test. I know I have, and I see people miss it because people answer okra because when we say which one of these has the highest selling price, people forget about the what's. What do you think people forget about? We got Nolan's question next. Because of the outlier. Exactly. I've seen this one on the test. People forget to look at the outlier, and then they're like, oh, okra is the highest. Like, oh, no, this is an outlier. You have to include outliers. They're data. They count. They're just above everything else. Nolan, let's go check out your question right here. Heading back over to the main screen. I think we did mark. Did we mark the canvas? We did mark the canvas content. Awesome. So let me see, Nolan. Can I show your code on the screen? Let me find your thing right here. You're NOS, right? Are you? Nolan, are you NOS on Discord? Is that your name? Is it? Did you message me or did you put in 474 chat? Oh, you are. Good. Let me make sure. I'm too afraid. If I click a message, then I might okay, here we go. Nice. And you put in code blocks? Thank you, Nolan, right there. 50 points putting in code blocks for me. Okay. When attempting to see upside down, we might have been found. Okay, you found object not found. Okay, so it says text per day not found. Let's go take a look at this. I might just send it right back to you. And I'm going to show you. Oh, I see. I know what it is, Nolan. You want to do another. I'll show you it. So what happened, Nolan, is you did another comma, which left the conditions. Since you're doing something. Okay, got it. Here you go, Nolan. I'm sending it back, fixed up, nice and neat. Thank you, Nolan. Take a look at the code right there, Nolan. You'll see that the way I broke it up is I put on the second line, I put your conditions and I joined it by an and statement. And then on the third line, you have your select with the columns you're selecting right there. So, yeah, you could report like head of it if you wanted to show like, that's not bad. If you report like the head and do the first 3 rows, that's not bad to report to a company. Like you don't want to do tons and tons of output, but Nolan, you should be good right there. What questions are you calling me? Oh, Noah. Oh my gosh, Noah. Yeah, I was calling you Nolan. 100 points. I'm sorry. Oh, there's Nolan. Okay, no, yeah. I'm sorry, Nolan. Oh my god, Noah and Nolan. That's I was about to say. I really mean it. I've had 2 eye surgeries. I'm just gonna blame it on the eye surgeries. Apparently they didn't do as well as they thought they did with my eyes. But a lot of times when I read things, my mind just auto completes for me. I see NO and then my mind just auto completes the rest of it. Yeah. Are there any more questions? God, Noah and Nolan are cracking up right there. That's, oh man. Are you calling me Nolan? Oh, can you report looks similar to the project it did? It's stat. Like especially like stat 201. That's kind of the goal right here. Is we're building off of the knowledge we did in stat 201. We're continuing with executive summaries. You want to thank Hilarious? Awesome. Thank you so much. I want everyone to know. I want to say everyone's name properly. I can mess up the easiest of names, not on purpose. Even if your name's easy, I'm gonna make some errors. Can you please check mine? Yeah, sure. You sent me some stuff, KP. Let me take a look at that right here. Hey, I got yours, KP. Yeah, it's looking good, KP. Yeah, and then I see what you're doing. Yeah, but and then make sure to change the title. You know, you want to change the title. You want to think about how this would sit in a report. You know, so when you knit this, you want to take this image and put it into a report in a nice, neat way. Like you want to think about how this will look, and you want to change the plot of uniform data. But no, that's the kind of thing we're looking for right there. Is we're looking for, you know, good ways to graph data, ways to make things look nice. Let's talk about just like graphing data. So KP, that looks pretty good, and let's bring it to the next level here to end office hours. We're gonna go over to the main screen and go next level on this. So let's talk about making great graphics here for 474. Excuse me. BAS 474. Making great graphics. Okay. So does anyone know, 2 letters in the chat, Brian is a huge fan of these kinds of graphics. It's the grammar of graphics, if you're wondering what it is. It's called the grammar of graphics. The grammar of graphics. Ooh. Nice. Okay. You can use egg, cow plot, or patchwork to combine these 2 plots. See, I've never used patchwork. Okay, it's called the grammar of graphics. Peel said, GG. You got it right there, 100 points. We're going crazy here. Still confused. Do we have to submit? Oh, yes. You have to submit the knitted Word doc. Thank you for asking, KP, right there. You have to submit the knitted Word doc. So you need to, it doesn't, well, you could write it all in Word and make your graphics. Any way you do it is fine. You just have to submit a Word document. You could do all your code in an R file and then put it into a report. Whatever way you do it, does that make sense? Nolan, you might be on your second account right there. Any way you do it is fine. Any way you do it is fine. What matters is that you turn in a Word document or a PowerPoint. You can't turn in an R file. You can't turn in just an RMD file. Does that make sense right there, KP? So you could technically include that from a markdown and put it Exactly. Go 20 points. Gotta go create different points. Let me know what we're gonna get here. Yes, you can create the visuals and then bring them in. The whole goal is just think about like a company. Oh, Nolan figured it out right there. Yeah, no worries, Nolan. See, Nolan and Nolan, my eyes are gonna. You never know who Brian's gonna be talking to. Okay, so they've got here value, and they're doing the value here. So let's see right here. I found this code right here that looks really nice. Like that was what I was saying, so I won't need to copy and paste an important code. Yeah, I would, if I was doing this, I would do it in an RMD. And then when I knit it, I might edit the Word document. Does that make sense? Like if it gave, you can make it so the RMD, back on the right, oh, nice. You can make it so the RMD only gives you what you want to see. Like it only displays output, or it only displays, the code. You can make it display what you want. But once I knit, I'm going to make sure the document looks the way it wants. And I think that's one of our major problems, is that a lot of times in these classes, students will submit a document that's just like a bunch of code no one's ever going to read. So we don't want to send you to companies doing that. We want to send you to companies where it's like you turn in a report that the company wants to read. So that's what we want. Okay, let's take a look right here. We've got the value. We're going to use a code I've never used before, and then I'll post it for you. So we're going to go to survey. Let's go to empty cars. Empty cars is a classic one, which everyone should have. And we're going to go to MPG. So what it's saying is if I use these right here, there's where all those values are, MPG. Stack Overflow is your best friend. Cool. And that should do it. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, there's a value. It's mad about this. What? Error in select. Cannot subset columns that do not exist. Oh, it's ID. No. Let me see. What is it mad about? We got plot 1. Plot 1 is there. But check knowledge. Yeah, I would include the code. I did not take set to one scenario. I do a probably like this. Or just making up our own scenario. Yep. Sierra, 50 points. Yep. It's very open-ended. You're choosing what the company is going to care about, what the company is going to be investigating. What is it mad about? Let me try just running the start of the code. It's mad on this. It's mad on ID. So let me go look at what the person wrote. It's mad about ID. It's mad on ID. I'm going to figure out the issue right here with this. Select ID. What is... Does it need ID right here? Okay, that worked. Yes, nice. Okay, well, let's see if it breaks it. And then they're saying do this right here. Okay. And let's see if this all works nice and neat. Installed packages, patchwork. A little chill music right here. Let's see if this works. There we go. Nice and neat right there. What I want to point out is that there's just near infinite ways to do things. And I kind of like this right here. It's a nice little box plot and histogram. We should be able... I wonder if we can add a title to it pretty quickly. But that's got it right there. Box plot, histogram on top of each other. Scaled the same way for miles per gallon. But pretty easy to look at right there. I've never used that patchwork before. Plot layout. So you add them to the plot layout. It looks like you go plus plot, plus layout. And then you can choose the heights and widths of it, number of rows, and all this good stuff right here. But I've never really used library patchwork before. When subsetting the data in 40 or less, how many less is 2 less? There's no 2 less. Good question right there, Noah. You might find it interesting. You might find that it's interesting if you get it down to one individual. Like, what if it's like the one individual who moved across the United States and has a 4.0, and like, what if it's like there's this one person that we're going to reach out and talk to? That might be pretty interesting. Or we've got like these 2 really interesting individuals. That's where you would just talk about it. You would just talk about how you created that subset and why these people are of interest to you. Sometimes you can subset something really quickly and get it down to 40, but like, why is it of interest to you? That's what would be written about in the report. Does that make sense, Noah? So once you start subsetting down further, it becomes of interest. But I want to point out how I got this right here. Let me show you the process by which I created this graphic. I wanted to make a histogram and a box plot on top of each other. So I Googled ggplot with histogram and box plot. So I'm put a video, and then I found this second link right here on Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow, has anyone been to Stack Overflow before besides me? If you've ever been to Stack Overflow has pretty much answers to anything, I would say. I absolutely love Stack Overflow. And so I went here, and somebody was pretty much saying what I was asking. They were saying like, hey, I've got some data right here, some quantitative data. And then they're saying, I want with this quantitative data to turn it into a box plot and a histogram, and I want them nicely stacked. It looks like their graphic looks okay, but it's looking kind of odd right here. The reduction of height, it's making it a little bit weird down here. So then the person went through and showed them the methodology, and we were able to then take and do our data this way to take some empty cars data. We're not going to install it this time. And now we are able to create the same sort of graphic. Does that make sense what we're doing right here and what I suggest? Like, if you think of something, I want you to go and investigate and do it. I want you to think of like, what do I want to see? How do I want my data to look? And then think of a way of doing it. So I know this sounds crazy, but I want to inspire some imagination. I want you to be like, what can I do? And there's always an answer with code. Does anyone have any questions right now? What questions are there? Like, if we type in like, let me go over here. And let me type in coolest ggplot histograms. Let's see. How to make stunning histograms in R. 2021. Good. How to make stunning histograms in R. Let's see what they made. They'll show you what it looks like. Ooh, look at that. It's pretty interesting. And they're putting in, they put in the mean, the max, and all that right there. That's nice. Are these stunning? I swear I've seen better. I'm pretty sure I've seen better. But you do kind of get some integrity stuff right here. So GGM, and that's the aesthetic right here. And then they're doing the colors and the fill. So it's kind of all right. So that's the data frame. Or is it? I don't like the way they did this in a box right here. Can I not copy this whole box? Ooh. Maybe that is it for this. I do not like the way they did this. It's a really odd way of doing it. Oof, their code right here, pretty crazy. What questions are there right now as we look at this? So they've got all of this is, oof. This is a little bit, we're inside the aesthetic right here. Let me bring that back. Okay, not liking this code. Sometimes code is not pretty. They're in the life expectancy. Let's see if we see that. Geom, they're just making the history. Ooh, what's this one? That's just got some points. Looks like they're doing the x-intercept. Where are they doing that at? Size dashed. Oh, they're doing one standard deviation above. So they're showing the mean here plus or minus one standard deviation. They'd probably want to add that on top of it. So they're doing the life expectancy data. Let me go look at how that's structured. I think that's one of the default data sets inside of R. Here's where they load their packages. Oh, and then here's where they're taking the data. What questions are there while we do this right here? Here's where they're taking and making their data. So let's take a look. And there it is right there. We have that. We have this. We do not have this. When subsetting into the formulas, how many is... Oh, no, there's no two less. There's no many two less. It's all about, maybe if you get one, that's of interest. Does that make sense, Noah? If there's just one... Oh, no, there's no many two less. There's no two less because if you get one individual, you can talk about that one individual. If you get two, you could talk about those two. That might be interesting when you narrow it down to like just one person. It's like, oh, we found like just this one person right here. Are we allowed to make a graph of a condition we used in subset? Yeah, I would do that right there. So if you're making a graph of something from a subset, you can say like, here's a visualization of the subset. And, we looked at this right here for them, and we found that they had this distribution, which is different from what we compared earlier. So you could bring that subset and talk about them compared to what you saw for the full data set. So Sierra, and Noah, good question right there. You could then talk about the subset and compare them to the original data and say, here's what we saw for the original data. Here's what we saw for the subset. There looks to be some key differences. So definitely that right there. I think that is a great way of going about it. So it is just the data frame and the X variable. Okay. Cool. Is it really just changing those? No way. Annotations not found. Data annotations. So they have annotations on here? They made their annotations or something. Annotations. I've never really done much annotations before. So you have to make a data frame of annotations. Never really done that. So let's go right here. Annotations, data frame. Okay, so we're just making values. Oh, they need to make their code look pretty. So they're doing the min, the mean, and the max. And this will be MPG cars or MT cars and MPG. And I think this should be good. Oh, wait, did he find the y-intercept? Now that's not cool. You're not supposed to go in and find values like this. So that's iffy because you don't go in and because the coordinates, we'll see what this does. The mean right here, whoever made this, they, she, he, I do not know. That looks to be a little bit off, but the mean is way too high. So they did that. There we go. And so it's a little bit off the screen. Not the, that's all right. That's, I don't know. It's decent. Displaying on the screen right there. I think they did because of their peaks or whatever. It was contingent on theirs. You shouldn't put that a little bit higher. There we go. So we're just getting some data displayed with it. And then we could kind of work with this a little bit to get it the size we want it and take a screenshot of it. But there is the min, there is the max. And then what we last want to do right here is we want to go to plus GG title. And we could say MPG or miles per gallon for MT cars. And there it is right there. And then we go to plus easy center title. And there it is right there. Now, might want to, how do you increase the font? Increase font size. Last thing we're going to do right here. If you have questions, let me know. We're just going to increase the font size of a GG title. It should be an argument inside of GG title. So let's look at GG title and see if it has a font size for it. There should be something. Title, subtitle, caption, tag, alt, no. So let's see. Tag. I don't think the tag's going to do it. Increase size of GG title. GG title, increase font size. Yeah, people have Googled this before. How to increase the font size of a GG title. And, oh, someone might have answered already. Here is the answer right here. Oh, it's a theme. I've done that before. And you just add together the theme to it, and you go right there. So we just take their code, and we go onto this. We'll probably go right here. And probably don't want it that big and bold. But let's see. There we go. There you go. Now we have our graphic. So how is this looking? Are there any questions right now? We're going to end off here in a second. But I want to point to this, that we can make the graphics look how we want. A big thing I like to do is display things nice and neat right here. And if you have a question, Brian, I want to increase the font. I want to change how it looks. There's many ways to do this. And I'm dropping this in the Discord too. And say another way to do graphics. Another way to do graphics. So let me drop this in the Discord right here and say another way to do graphics. Go another way to make a great histogram. And we need those annotations right here. Let me go grab the annotations. And there it is right here. And so that's with just the MT cars data frame. And I think that's got it. Any last questions? Any comments? We're running out of coffee here this morning, but we'll be back, everybody. Just a little bit. See you soon. Bye.